this or less of this, or is there any difference, or are we just holding on to things that we don't have anymore? Sometimes time doesn't heal, no, not at all. Just stand still while we fall in or out of love again. I doubt I'm gonna win you back when you got eyes like that that won't let me in. Always looking out. Ooh.
out the best of me. It's time to get a move on. Cause I know the rest of me is testing me to get strong. I can feel the dark emerging, time for purging my wrong. It's time to shine the light, I've held it for too long. You gotta give me way more time, and we'll be better down the line. Cause now my heart is in a bind, and baby I don't wanna waste your life. Bringing out the best of me, it's time to get a move on. Cause I know the rest of me is testing me to get strong. I can feel the dark emerging, time for purging my wrong. It's time to shine the light, I've held it for too long. You gotta give me way more time, and we'll be better down the line. Cause now my heart is in a bind, and baby I don't wanna waste your life.
One of these days it all will be better. At the end of the day we all come together. Cause it's me and you, hey, we're gonna get through this. We got the power to feel like this forever. In this moment, let your dreams begin. The wait is over, it all comes down to this. We know we got so much more to give, so much to give. We got the power to feel like this forever. One of these days it all will be better. At the end of the day we all come together. Cause it's me and you, hey, we're gonna get through this. We got the power to feel like this forever. In this moment, let your dreams begin. The wait is over, it all comes down to this. We know we got so much more to give, so much to give. We got the power to feel like this forever. Let your dreams begin. Let your dreams begin. It all comes down to We got the power to feel like this forever. In this moment, let your dreams begin.
It's gonna be a good day today. Oh, 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 oh. It's gonna be a good day today. Oh, 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 oh. It's gonna be a good day today. Got a feeling everything's gonna be alright. The sun is shining, there's not a cloud in the sky. It's gonna be a good day. It's gonna be, it's gonna be a good day.
Give it to me now. Damn, you're sexy, but you keep controlling my mind. Yeah. I've been thinking of reasons, but I can't deny. Yeah. 'Cause baby, you are not a girl, and you wanna punish me. Sugar, you got a hold, so come and do what you please. My mind is saying no, but you're bringing me to my knees. I cannot deny you're looking so tasty, yeah. Damn, you're tasty. Ooh, you're looking so tasty, yeah. Damn, you're tasty. Ooh. So baby, lick your lips and take a bite. Baby, I'm all yours tonight. You're looking so tasty, yeah. Damn, you're tasty. Ooh. Yeah, what kind of magic got control of me? Oh, what kind of magic you got over me? Yeah, ooh. 'Cause baby, you are not a girl, and you wanna punish me. Sugar, you got a hold, so come and do what you please. My mind is saying no, but you're bringing me to my knees, yeah. I cannot deny you're looking so tasty, yeah. Damn, you're tasty. Oh, you're looking so tasty, yeah. Damn, you're tasty. Oh, so baby, lick your lips and take a bite. Baby, I'm all yours tonight. You're looking so tasty, yeah. Damn, you're tasty. Ooh. Yeah, put your lips upon my lips. Let me have a taste. Put your lips upon my lips. Let me have a taste. Put your lips upon my lips. Let me have a taste. Put your lips upon my lips. Let me have a taste. Put your lips upon my lips. Let me have a taste. Put your lips upon my lips. Let me have a taste. Put your lips upon my lips. Let me have a taste. Put your lips upon my lips. Let me have a taste. Tasty, yeah. Damn, you're tasty. Tasty. You're looking so tasty. Tasty, yeah. Damn, you're tasty. Ooh. So baby, lick your lips and take a bite. Baby, I'm all yours tonight. You're looking so tasty, yeah. Damn, you're tasty. Ooh. Give it to me now.
My whole team ready. Big dreams, big rings, we want it. You won't forget it. We came to handle business. My whole team ready. Big dreams, big rings, we want it. You won't forget it. We came to handle business.
please rise for the singing of the national anthem? Oh, sing, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Good afternoon. Let's give another round of applause to our soloist, Caitlin King. Caitlin is a member of class of 2024 and is working toward a Bachelor of Science degrees in both biomedical engineering and robotics. Thank you, Caitlin. Welcome to Chrysler Center and the graduation ceremony for the class of 2023E. Yeah. This is a significant moment, one that has required sacrifice, dedication, likely some late nights in a cane lab or two, and trust in your ability to push yourself forward. You did it, and this is a moment to celebrate. But make no mistake, this is a moment in a life full of boundless, uncharted moments ahead of you. To some of you, that may be exciting. To others, perhaps a little scary. While to others, this may be the next item to check off on your life plan. And truly, there's something satisfying about checking something off your list. But life doesn't always go according to a plan, doesn't it? Perhaps, like you, I grew up with a very clear goal in mind for what I wanted to do with the rest of my life. Ever since watching the movie 2001: A Space Odyssey when I was 4 years old, and then devouring the novel by Arthur C. Clarke when I was a bit older, I've been fascinated by space travel and artificial intelligence. Growing up, I set my goals high, quite literally. My dream was to be the first astronaut to go to Mars. And, well, things changed. You see, on my path to NASA, I learned more about myself and what inspires me. I no longer dreamt of becoming the first person to set foot on the red planet. Instead, my curiosity led me to an opportunity to develop the advanced spacecraft plasma propulsion technology that would be needed to propel someone else, perhaps one of you in fact, to Mars, Jupiter, or even beyond. And I don't regret that shift in my career aspiration one bit. I held on to the sense of wonder that accompanies exploration, which captured my imagination in the book and movie, and let that curiosity lead me to become the person I am today. This curiosity has served me well, and it's something I wish to impart to you as you navigate your own future. So, what advice might I offer as you transition to work, graduate school, government service, or some other challenge? Give some thought to what motivates your sense of curiosity. Stay curious about the ways things work and the impact they have on society. This may drive you to tackle challenges from a new perspective or to question outcomes rather than accepting them at face value. Keep asking what if, and then explore why things may not work how you had imagined. So much about learning is by doing things that don't work and then course correcting based on findings. Stay curious about technical achievement as well, both in terms of how you apply the latest technologies and your contributions to future discoveries. Today, for example, we are in the infancy of learning how to apply artificial intelligence agents such as ChatGPT to benefit humanity. Who here hasn't experimented with it and seeing what it can do in terms of writing code, cover letters, or even the speech? That was a joke. Thanks for laughing. Or was it? But make sure you don't leave yourself out of the equation. Ask intelligent questions, evaluate the output you receive, and check for accuracy and, most importantly, for bias. By staying curious, you become a more critical thinker, which is exactly what this world needs. And finally, stay curious about people, both in terms of who they are and what they bring to the table. It can be tempting to label someone as problematic or move on, or to limit your interactions to just the people who share a similar background as your own or the same point of view. But as you've likely found, based on people you've gotten to know through your competition team, research projects, or other activities here at Michigan and elsewhere, there's so much more to someone than what meets the eye. Talk to a lot of people and find out what makes them tick. Assume good intentions and consider that you might behave the same way if you walked in someone else's shoes. Be curious about others, be empathetic, and you may soon share my view, based on decades of experience, that good people are the predominant population of society. I'm going to say that one more time. Good people are the predominant population of society. At this point, you may be curious about when we're going to move on with this ceremony and get over with this speech. So I'm going to wrap things up like a mummy. You are graduating today with a solid foundation of science and engineering fundamentals, experience working in collaborative teams with people who come from different disciplines and walks of life, and hopefully the knowledge that you are capable of making a real positive difference in the world. Take those skills you have practiced, extrapolate to what you now know, letting your curiosity guide you, and apply it to all that is to come in your very, very bright future. Congratulations, class of 2023. Go out and be curious. Go out and be kind and empathetic. Go out and apply what you've learned to serve society. And finally, and always, go blue. Thank you. The administrators of the college, including the executive committee, associate deans, department chairs, and program directors, serve in various capacities to help the College of Engineering pursue its vision, mission, values, strategic pillars, and people-first framework. All of our outstanding faculty members also are vital to upholding the college's excellent reputation and making possible your impactful student experience. Will the college's administrative leadership and all other faculty members please stand as you are able? Thank you. Let us also recognize two special guests and friends from the university's administration. Vice President for Information Technology and Chief Information Officer and Professor of Engineering Practice in the Electrical Engineering and Computer Science Division, Ravi Penze. And Arthur F. Thurno Professor, Mary Lou Dorff Collegiate Professor of Computer Science and Engineering, Vice Provost for Engaged Learning, Executive Vice President for Academic Affairs, and Professor of Electrical Engineering and Computer Science, Valeria Bertacco. Thank you all for joining us. A tradition of the college's commencement ceremony is to hear from a student. This year's student speaker is Noelle Sidney Parrish Fleury. Noelle is a first-generation college graduate in space science and engineering. While at Michigan, she has participated as a member, peer mentor, and program assistant within the Michigan Research and Discovery Scholars Program. Supported fellow students as a Michigan Student Ambassador and in her work with the Mosher Jordan Residence Hall Community Center and the Noonan Academic Advising Center. She has further served as a substitute elementary school teacher in the Dexter Community Schools. In May, Noelle will begin her career at Accenture in Chicago. Her future academic plans include a master's degree in the field of global aerospace enterprise and continuing on to earn her PhD. Noelle, please come forward.
Good afternoon, graduates, staff, families, and supporters. To introduce myself, my name is Noelle Fleury, and today I'm graduating as a first-generation college student with a degree in space science and engineering. And to introduce all of us, today we are graduating from the College of Engineering at the University of Michigan, unarguably the best in the Midwest. I would go as far to say the best in the nation, even though the college football playoffs didn't really think so. Something that may come as a shock is that I didn't even really know what engineering was when I got to U of M. Honestly, I'm still not entirely sure if I know what it is now. In the beginning of my academic journey here, I noticed that many students would represent themselves by the stickers on their laptops. Among those, I would see the EECS checkmark stickers all across campus. We've all seen them. EECS 183, check. EECS 280, check. I thought, what is EECS anyway? I soon learned that it was the title of the courses that taught computer coding. Immediately after learning that, I viewed the people who bared those stickers on their laptops as extremely successful. I mean, I had never coded before. I didn't even know that C++ was a language. I just knew a little bit of French. What I did know was that I wanted those stickers on my laptop because I wanted people to view me as wildly successful too. I'm the youngest of 7 children, and together we grew up in a South Side neighborhood with a little bit of a rocky upbringing. Revolving around some abuse and alcoholism, my siblings and I lived in survival mode for a good chunk of our lives. When the bills didn't get paid, our house lights were out, the water was shut off, and the food was scarce. To survive, you have to be creative. When the milk got low, we filled the jug with water. That's just basic dilution. When the lights were out, the milk jug had enough water in it anyway that we could put a flashlight under it and use it as a lantern. To further the physics of my survival guide, we somehow found out that placing mirrors all around the room actually made the room brighter. Engineering was a part of my entire childhood, and I didn't even know it. To survive is to be creative, but to also be an engineer. So fast forward to college. It's time to take EECS 183, the intro course to coding. Now it's my turn to get my EECS checkmark sticker and show everyone that I'm successful too. I quickly learned that coding revolves around a lot of if statements. For these statements, you set one condition as true, and you set another condition as false. For example, our statement is true under the condition that says if the number of points Michigan football scores is greater than the number of points Ohio State football scores, then Michigan wins. On the flip side, we can say if the number of points Michigan football scores is less than the number of points Ohio State football scores, then our statement is false because it doesn't match the condition we just assigned as true. So, if Michigan football scores more points than Ohio State, statement's true, Michigan wins. Any other condition makes our statement false. When it comes to university, a lot of times it's believed that the statement is true under the condition that says, if a college student studies hard, gets internships, earns good grades, studies, gets really good grades on exams, then they are successful. I mean, it's as easy as that, right? And anything else outside of this is rendered as false. Luckily enough, I learned in Intro to Coding that there are times when multiple conditions can be true. Like we said earlier, our statement is true as long as the number of points Michigan football scores is greater than the number of points Ohio State football scores. We can ask our computer, well, what if it's also under the condition that our running back is injured and couldn't play? Our computer will say that our statement is true because Michigan still scored more points than Ohio State. You might be thinking, okay, well, what if it's also under the condition that it's snowing? Our computer's gonna say, no problem. That team from the north, we got it. We actually thrive in the snow, so our statement is still true. Today, I'm setting our statement of being a successful engineering student as true under the condition that you are in this arena today. You could ask me, but what if I failed a class? What if I'm a first-generation American citizen? What if I came here for grad school and I had to change my research advisor? No matter the conditions you come from, the statement is still true. And that's the great thing about the University of Michigan. There are students from all different conditions, whether it's race, socioeconomic status, gender, religion, childhood, home life, wins, losses, and anything in between. They are just as successful. It wasn't until Intro to Coding that I learned multiple conditions can be true. If a student failed classes, then the statement is still true and the student is successful. If I could redesign my laptop, it would look something like, failed a class, check. Cried over a math problem, check. Blamed losing against TCU on the football turf, check. As we are all here and eager to begin our next part of life, don't let the EEK stickers on laptops gauge your success. The obstacles you've faced and have persevered get the recognition they deserve, even though the rest of the world doesn't get to see it. If you're stuck, think of your roots right here at the University of Michigan. I mean, you all grew up as engineers too. Maybe you and your family use some structural analysis to determine the best way to load items in your car for a long road trip, because what's more Midwest than driving 17 hours across the United States than buying a plane ticket? No matter the conditions, the statement that we are successful engineers is always true. And with that, I say good luck to you all, and go blue!
Thank you, Noel. Our keynote speaker is an astrophysicist, a scholar, innovator, and a friend, indeed a former faculty member here at Michigan Engineering. As the longest continually serving associate administrator for science in NASA's history, Dr. Thomas Zurbuchen, or Dr. Z as he's known in the space community, was tasked with helping answer some of humanity's biggest questions. Where do we come from? Are we alone? At NASA, Dr. Zurbuchen presided over missions that advanced the frontiers of knowledge and exploration, including the launch of the James Webb Space Telescope, the landing on Mars of the Perseverance rover and its flying companion, the Ingenuity helicopter, and in partnership with other government and industry partners, missions to protect and improve lives on Earth through weather forecasting and support for disaster relief. An innovative and collaborative leader, Dr. Zurbuchen has been recognized as a member of the International Academy of Astronautics and the Swiss Academy of Science and Engineering, and is a fellow of the American Institute of Aeronautics and Astronautics. Prior to NASA, here at the University of Michigan, he served in roles including Professor of Space Science and Aerospace Engineering, Senior Counselor to the Provost on Entrepreneurship, Associate Dean for Entrepreneurial Programs in the College of Engineering, and Founding Director of University of Michigan Center for Entrepreneurship. Please give a hearty welcome back to a member of the Michigan family, Dr. Thomas Zurbuchen.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Go Blue. That line always works. That's a cheap one here. Look, it's a huge honor and frankly quite emotional for me to be here with you today. For me, graduations are always the best days of the year in college education. It's rooms full of love, full of excitement and pride, and full of hope. This is a homecoming of sorts for me, as my good friend Alec, Dean Gallimore, just told you. After 2 weeks, only after my PhD, I came here, frankly, with a plan of only spending 1 year at the University of Michigan, and I left 20 years later, not only older, but feeling extremely fortunate to have worked with my dear colleagues and have been part of lives of thousands of students, 15 of whom who graduated about a dozen years ago provided direct input in the speech I'm giving to you today. So in other words, they told me what I'm supposed to say. That's what I'm doing, not ChatGPT. First, look, I want to congratulate all of you, class of 2023. You made it. You have achieved a very important goal that surely will set you up for success. You are a college graduate and will soon walk across the stage receiving your well-deserved recognition. Also, I want to congratulate those of you, just like the speaker ahead of me, who are first in your families to graduate. Also, many of you who walked a steep path to arrive here today. You make your families and your professors extremely proud. You have opened new doors for yourself. How do I know? I too was a first in my family to graduate. I also want to acknowledge the many teachers and mentors here today. Some of you are here because you were part of the lives of the graduates years ago. Some of you are grading final papers days ago, and your dedication to our students has helped them achieve and grow. And finally, I want to thank the family members and friends who are here with us today. As Fred Rogers once famously said, all of us have special ones who loved us into being. You have been part of these students' path and have supported them through ups and downs, and you will be there for them in the future. I feel the love, I feel the pride in the room. Congratulations to all. So I'm going to ask those students over here to join me in an applause for those who have supported you. I remember standing in a nearly empty room last July. I was looking at an image of the universe captured in a totally new way, in infrared light, and I was in awe. It was the deepest image of space ever captured, something no one other than about a handful of scientists had seen before me. It does not happen very often that we can look at the universe in an entirely new way. In 1609 and 1610, Galileo looked through the first telescope and found stunning surprises. Jupiter, he found, had celestial companions, the Galilean moons, as we call them today. And I've always wondered how we felt, figure that out, that the sky is surprising. Then on that afternoon last July, it happened to me. I saw the universe anew. Some light in this picture had taken over 13 billion years to make it through the new telescope that imaged it, the James Webb Space Telescope, the most complex and most expensive space mission ever undertaken by humanity. As I stood there, I noticed that my eyes were welling up. The sense of awe was almost too much for one person, but it wasn't the only reason for eye emotion. As the head of NASA's science program, I had been part of the struggle to build and complete this telescope for 6 years. At first, it seemed almost helpless. Within less than a year on the job, I could see that we were in deep trouble. Despite spending over $1 million per day, we were falling behind day for day. So for nearly 2 years, every day, the launch moved for 1 day to the right. We were not making progress towards the launch. Every 6 months, the team made a mistake that took 6 months to recover from, on the average. Soon, I was invited to testify to Congress, and I don't recommend that, by the way. Not when you're screwing up, that is. Our elected representatives rightly were wondering whether this one was just too much. It was devastating for the entire team, and tens of thousands of astronomers worldwide. Would this groundbreaking technology ever image the universe? The next steps were not easy. We had to make major adjustments to the team leadership and culture, but with a final lifeline given by Congress and very deliberate changes, the team got better and better each day. When we launched the telescope on Christmas 2021 on a European rocket, we started the most complex and most risky deployment of a space system in history. We were there despite all odds. Earlier, when a science journalist did a poll among experts regarding whether they believed JWST would ever work, the vast majority admitted they didn't believe there was any hope. There was another reason my eyes were welling up that afternoon in July. Growing up in a farm village in the mountains of Switzerland, I had looked at the sky as a child and I had dreamt about the stars. I did not know any engineers or scientists when I was little. I had read many books about human-made spacecraft and dreamt about exploration, but all of that seemed so remote. Growing up in a strictly religious family, science was neither studied or appreciated. And when I started to gain interest in studying science and engineering, a well-meaning teacher took me aside and told me, you know, Thomas, this stuff is hard, perhaps too hard for you. He did not hold much hope that I would even get to a university. Yet that day, in front of the deepest ever image of the universe, I thought back to that little kid on the roof of the farm, looking at the dark sky and dreaming, and now his team was making history beyond any expectations, beyond any hope. I had met people who encouraged and mentored me, including here at the University of Michigan, and I had learned that my simple upbringing was a huge strength and not my weakness. Well, I told you the story because of two ideas that I want you to take from this address. Ideas I believe will be of importance for you as you launch it in the next chapter of your lives. The first idea is about hope. The second one is about team. And I'm going to relate those to each other. As we look at the world today, things that are really, truly worrying us at global scales. The aggression of Russia against Ukraine, reigniting fears of nuclear war that I know of as I grew up in Europe. There's tensions originating further east that challenge our deeply held societal principles about freedom and government for and by the people. and concerns about how we treat each other as humans, both as an interpersonal level, but as a worldwide community or in the United States. Hate and fear seem to have taken a hold of so many hearts. Hard-won freedoms are at risk. And after running the largest earth science program worldwide, I'm keenly aware that our planet is changing more rapidly than we had predicted. That is not a matter of belief or theory. It's about collecting and understanding data gathered from space. From the unique vantage of space, right now as we sit here, there are 39 active NASA-built spacecraft looking at the Earth, and they're measuring ice levels, floods and droughts, and sea levels each and every day. We also observe devastation, both natural and human-made. There are 2 so-called 500-year floods in Florida since 2020. In the past years have been record-setting in terms of fires and droughts. So with all this, how can we hope? Well, it's because we choose to be hopeful. The decision to have hope is sometimes not popular or even reasonable. How do we think of ourselves? Do we stack up our anxieties and doubts until they become a wall of doom? Or do we see ourselves like Gene Kranz, who spearheaded the return of the Apollo 13 mission, crying out, "Failure is not an option. It takes lasting courage to achieve big goals, and it is not one and done. We need to recommit to hope on a regular basis. And yes, when it comes to big goals, failure is an ever-present possibility. Know that, and then do your best anyway." Gene Kranz also said, "It isn't equipment that wins the battles. It is the quality and the determination of people fighting for a cause in which they believe." See, hope is not just a feeling, but its manifestation in belief and in action. When asked what he would do if he was told the earth would stop tomorrow, reformer Martin Luther said, "I would plant a tree." He wanted to commit a last act of hope. Here's what I believe: in the acts of hope that it is acts of hope that change the world for the better. Inventing a new medical device, harnessing a new form of clean energy, designating and building a whole new generation of aircraft that use different fuels and are both cleaner and better. Faster for me, by the way, also, if you don't mind, aerospace. Creating a startup that catalyzes the local and economy and creates jobs, building a nonprofit focused on social impact, imagining an astonishing telescope. Each of these are acts of courage and hope. They matter in their aggregate. They create new ideas, new solutions, and a new way of seeing and being. Primatologist and anthropologist Jane Goodall warned us about the absence of hope, and she said that the greatest danger of our future is apathy. The decision whether to be hopeful is up to us each day, and so is the courageous decision to act on that hope and work to make it happen. It is surely tough at times, but there will be disappointments along the way, for sure. But we can take heart that we are not in this hope business alone. The secret weapon to actualizing hope is the power of teams. Teams, especially diverse teams, aligned with a common sense of purpose and dedication, are truly able to do the impossible. It is magical to observe the power of high-functioning teams, those who come together as individuals with different strengths and talents, sometimes with very little in common, but to learn to work in concert with one another. A super team brings a wide variety of perspectives and skills to the job. When deployed in combination, becomes vastly greater than the sum of the parts. What marks these super teams is the understanding that the diversity of talents and strengths is exactly what is necessary to solve complex challenges, and a dedication to a common goal. Well, look, I ran over 120 science missions at NASA, and I launched 37 of them. And when I started the job, I expected that about 70% of the problems that I'm going to solve relate to engineering and technology. About 30% relate to people and teams. As I left the job after 6+ years, I learned the ratio is reversed. Success hinged primarily on team effectiveness and technology we can figure out. You will figure out. This is precisely why I have been excited to see the People First Engineering strategy pop up as part of the college's strategy developed by Dean Gallimore. I'm going to just want to insert one sentence here and just tell you how honored I am to sit next to my friend, Dean Gallimore. There's very few people on earth I admire more than him, a person who leads with grace, with strength, and is a person who really exudes hope everywhere he goes. He's been a mentor to me and a friend, and that will never change, even if he moves. I don't know where he moves. No football team. Some basketball, though. To be a great teammate, learn first who you are. Yes, you too have strengths and weaknesses. Frankly, it's probably the same, your strengths and weaknesses. Depends a little bit on the situation. They're really the same. Also, respect and care about other team members and support them. You will feel supported when you need it, and you will if you do hard things. Finally, be entirely authentic and transparent. I can tell you a trick I learned from identifying leadership challenges and judging leaders of missions and political systems alike. If there's ever a disconnect between what people say and what they do, you know you're going to be in trouble before it even shows up. So look, the future does not belong to superstars, it belongs to super teams. Effective teamwork puts hope into action. That is, by the way, why I love the University of Michigan so much. Due to its Midwestern values and public ethos, Wolverines are prime candidates to be both leaders and enablers of such super teams. Let me give you some examples of my NASA time. All of these are last year. The first next-gen weather satellites we launched in orbit, we did 3 of them. 5 managers were Wolverines of instruments, and some of them former students of mine. I say, go blue. Last year, NASA did an asteroid redirection test, crashing a spacecraft into an asteroid. You may have seen it. The 2 top system engineers, you saw them on camera, both of them were University of Michigan grads, and the woman who got the spacecraft to the asteroid, did all the navigation, she too is a Michigan graduate. I say, go blue. And when we almost missed launching Perseverance rover, the person in charge of system integration of true trailing science instrument was a Wolverine, an inspiration to many. I say, go blue. And when we deployed the James Webb Space Telescope, we talked about half the shifts of that deployment were run by a University of Michigan grad. The NASA leadership team noticed, and that puzzled them, and they said, why are you students everywhere? I said, it is because they are great, but even more importantly, they make teams great. So as you enter this new chapter of your life, be proud of what you've achieved. As Michigan graduates, you are part of the biggest, most impactful communities on earth. You have proven that you have the stuff it takes intellectually to make it pretty much anywhere. And now each day, decide to hope, despite the odds, decide to dare mighty things, because what you believe is worth spending your life on, and I have faith that you aren't in it alone. We can harness each other's superpowers in true teamwork to actualize our hopes and change the world for the better. Go blue.
Thank you, Thomas, for inspiring us with your words, actions, and the nice things you said about me, which I was not expecting. This event celebrates a major achievement by today's graduates. But graduates, you have received help along the way from parents, grandparents, guardians, spouses, siblings, and other family and friends. I now ask the special people who are here with us today to stand as they are able, so that your graduates may thank you. That's right. Okay, thank you very much. All right, students, it's your time. Would all Michigan engineering students please rise as you're able? On behalf of the Board of Regents of the University of Michigan, congratulations to the class of 2023. You may be seated. At this time, I will call the name of each of the college's department or division chairs or representatives. Full titles of the chairs appear in the back of your program. Leaders briefly will greet their department students on stage. I now would ask these individuals to stand or remain standing as I call your names. Audience, please hold your applause until the entire group has been recognized. Tony Wass, Aerospace Engineering. Elizabeth Mays and Ariela Shokanoff, Biomedical Engineering. Sharon Glotzer, Chemical Engineering. Yafeng Yin, Civil Environmental Engineering. Aaron Ridley and Claire Peterson, Climate and Space Sciences and Engineering. Michael Wellman, Computer Science and Engineering. Mingyan Liu, Electrical and Computer Engineering. Brian Denton, Industrial and Operations Engineering. Diane Bry, Integrative Systems and Design. Elizabeth Holm, Material Science and Engineering. Ellen Aruda, Mechanical Engineering. David Dowling, Naval Architecture and Marine Engineering. Todd Allen, Nuclear Engineering and Radiological Sciences. Dawn Tilbury, Robotics. Jim Sayer, Transportation Research Institute. Thank you. You may be seated. Now I would like to ask the first team of name announcers to please take your positions. Ushers will direct graduates to the stage in 2 lines. Beginning from the front of the arena, each student marshal will lead by holding their department or program flag. Graduates, you will be greeted on stage by your department representatives and by Vice President for Information, Ravi Penze, or me. It is tradition as you cross the stage to move your mortarboard tassel from the right side to the left to reflect your transition. Then please return to your seat in the audience and remain seated until the conclusion of our well-engineered program. In the spirit of Michigan Engineering Unity, we want all departments and students to be recognized by a full audience. Although some of you may tend to be shy and shy away from the spotlight, today is your time to shine and have a little fun. It's okay for your family, friends, and supporters if they would like to cheer very briefly as you are called. After our last graduate is recognized and following the singing of the victors at the end of the ceremony, be sure to look up and smile big for the official class of 2023 photo. Would the candidates for the degrees offered by the departments of Aerospace Engineering and Climate and Space Sciences and Engineering please rise and approach the stage to begin the recognition of graduates. Yep, right there is good.
Department of Aerospace Engineering, Erica Mendes Velasquez.
Climate and Space Sciences Engineering, Carlos Ceballos.
Haley Bazainau.
John Del Pizzo.
Samuel Sugarman.
Spencer Lowitz.
Jonas Harris.
Kara Beener.
Jake Yeaman.
Tailbrin Porter.
Nikhil Punchi.
Brian Cromwell.
Emilio Flores.
Caleb Clover.
Jacob Hare.
Tanner Allen.
Munsiek Jiang.
Eric David Reuter.
William Thompson.
Ernest Cheng.
Samantha Romano.
Shun Yu Yang.
Jackson Miller.
Jeremy Mide Musa.
Owen Brewer.
Ananya Bhattacharya.
Ethan Gutierrez.
Peyton Paulus.
Ahmed Abdfallah.
Rohan Valuri.
Joshua Carroll.
Cameron Behar.
Taylor Penhorwood.
Grace Oaks.
Madeline Purvis.
Jessica Fisher.
Dev Patel.
Noel Fleury.
Emilia Stehauer.
Robotics. Connor Williams.
Jose Montesinos.
Vesruth Koshik.
Alex Whitbot.
Emma Faulhaber.
Daniel Wilcox.
Marcela de los Rios.
Braden Callahan.
Shreya Pirka.
Dylan Bauer.
Jose Montes Perez.
Holly Van Brocklin.
Theodore Chakachira.
Federico Origa Mendez.
Kavan Shah.
Kong Chunwei.
Daksh Narang.
Simone Samararu.
Varun Agarwal.
Nicholas Hano.
Derek Fermin Olivares.
Thomas Greenwald.
Cameron Kisalis.
Emily Grimm.
Gregor Limstrom.
Megan Ennis.
Vatsala Prasad.
Anish Rajesh.
Diraj Maji.
Jacob Kaspriak.
Vivek Kumar Jaiswal.
Devon Pamar.
Juan K. Eric Kam.
David Pan.
Nicole Campbell.
Chris Forchhammer.
Rahul Agrawal.
Tyler Bartlett.
Advit Seturaman.
Ethan Canal.
Nikhil Devraj.
Asel Shanvana.
Anur Bagoran.
Daniela Mata.
Rahul Srinivasan.
Matthew Shepard.
Hendrik Drager.
Anson Show.
Hirsch Javeri.
Madeline Munoz.
Xuanleng Huang.
Kavya Saravanan.
Jingheng Ye.
Alexandra Stranlau.
Pingha Michael Lin.
Kyra Paras.
Yicheng Lai.
Sarah Hertzy.
Quanting Li.
Zoe Guikema.
Wan Yi Wendy Yu.
Morgan Sarah.
Niyatha Mehra.
Michael Fisher.
Sairub Naz.
Shant Amakanian.
Nithin Donipudi.
Joshua Tenza.
Ezra Altabet.
Spencer Brumell.
Aditya Srinivas Mahohar.
Bernardo Pacini.
Gatesh Sumbaji Gunjal.
Derek Willis.
Adam Lee.
Dr. Kevin Horn. Intelligence for Morphing Aircraft.
Christopher Como.
Andrew Saladino.
Shah Sun.
Suno Kim.
Jumanjit Singh Gill.
Noah Kinukin.
Peter Mnev.
Jacob Bradley.
Joseph Taylor.
Mitchell Meyer.
Yatin Lin.
Jin Su.
Srikar Varaganti.
Forrest Rullison.
Nuclear Engineering and Radiological Sciences. Mackenzie Warwick.
Joseph Taylor.
Meredith E. Hart.
Dennis Dost.
James Baker Jr.
Rajvi Patel.
Nicholas Rule.
Jacob van der Schaaf.
Thomas Jayasankar.
Ari Eckhouse.
Sirat Tar.
Hunter Segeya.
Meredith Tebow.
Carter Briggs.
Juliana Schoenwald.
Cole Hessel.
Katie Marie
Abraham Reddy Condor.
Katie Marie Olivis.
Cameron Sahagan Crandall.
Patrick Myers.
Jack Talmercio.
Ethan Polselli.
Roy Schlagman.
Connor Craig.
Benjamin Levy.
Vida Joint.
Nicholas Supancic.
Isaac Rayco.
Jacob Efrusi.
Andrew Qua.
Matteo Aprimo.
Weber Q.
Joseph Spress.
Luis Flavio Azevedo.
Zachary Ellis.
Andrew Panter.
Connor McKinley.
Engineering Physics, Shinyi Zhao.
Vishwash Siva.
James Pfaff.
Faiz Fatah.
Ryan Tokars.
Sai Satya Charan Maladi.
Aryan Gupta.
Yathinda Ragiv Lakshma Kumar.
Marlena Natalie Kott.
Sanjan Mukandimath.
Claire McDermott.
Mulha Dineshuma Paravchapti.
David Engel.
Richard Dar III.
Sarah Stanley.
Forster Gao.
Eric Chandler.
Chen Yuan Lim.
Colin Christian.
Nicholas Gosh.
Jimmy Gao.
Joseph Kovac.
Colin Stewart.
John Oberlees.
Dion Lee.
Hyung Jung Kim.
Naval Architecture and Marine Engineering. Benjamin Skinner.
Matthew Liu.
Slate Davis.
Cole Whidden.
Peter Smith.
Andre Jones.
Nathaniel Nelson.
Michael Tsai.
Christopher DeMartinez.
Michael Tigner.
Kiernan O'Connor.
Adrian Jules Roka.
Taylor Althouse.
Connor Swinehart.
Jushan White.
Boomer Perry.
Shonia Goot.
Brandon Kirk.
Zach Duval.
Preston Kim.
Brian Axelson.
Ayan Shaikh.
Luke Van Auken.
Junie Baik.
Ethan Almquist.
Keishore Nunli.
Sean Hickey.
Edward Tong.
Cooper Clark.
Conrad Shire.
Connor Brown.
Akashdeep Pawar.
Joshua Beatty.
Madhavan Murali.
Logan Galindo.
Yosef Tahir.
Victoria Arsimie.
Noah Nels.
Jackson Brown.
Erin Levesque.
Carson Denman.
Eric Hersey.
Joe Cazares.
Diego Fung.
Sahith Idupugunte.
Austin Ryan.
Dimitrios Dikos.
Michael Chu.
Kai Dembensky.
Noah Eckert.
Adam Sack.
Alexander Krushkov.
Miquan Nguyen.
Jan Borden.
Dr. Spiros Kasapis. Processing image data from unstructured environments.
Dr. Suprash Prakash. Computational modeling of non-idealities in gaseous and multi-phase detonating flows.
Electrical and Computer Engineering. Carolyn Jessica Ross.
Radhika Kosia.
Razmik Vartanian.
Shinyi Liu.
Tianlong Zhao,
Xuantai Ye,
Shantuno Puronthire,
Nicholas Mellenby,
Tate Fisher,
Blaine Weld,
Jack Gates,
Neil Patrick,
William Wolf,
Narayan Prabhakar,
Inakshi Deb,
Ritwik Majumdar,
Caitlin Novak,
Sadhasan Lakshmana Jinan,
Audrey Jacobson,
Dr. Diva Sankey,
Joseph Wendt,
maneuverability and load alleviation and ride qualities of transonic high aspect ratio wing aircraft.
Logan Birchmeyer,
Luke McFarlane,
Spencer Burquicchio,
Anis Raymond,
Harshang Patel,
Christopher Ann,
Peter Haverdes,
Andy Joe,
Renee Rogers,
Dr. Juan Paredes, adaptive
Sichin-
control of self-excited systems with application to a gas turbine combustor.
Sichen Sai,
Jiashang Tang,
Yang Zhao,
Department of Chemical Engineering, Lisa Bain.
Sharunya Rajan Guptan,
Gabrielle George.
Rindi Luthra,
Priyana Patel.
Manasa Buravali,
Chelsea Lee.
Shivangi TP,
Nipuli Gunaratne.
Nivedita Shrijuth,
Brianna May.
Unshuman Man,
Karina Gallagher.
Tuba Server,
Riley-
UV-Vis Optical On-Chip Spectrometer,
Riley Minitz.
Anya Spitsinski,
Rinny Singh.
Alexander Willis,
Jacob Miller.
Yuhao Gao,
Elena Poon.
Jianing Zhang,
Kelly Nguyen.
Yumai Sven,
Jennifer Helskamp.
Yichao Wu,
Catherine Vischer.
Emilia Sacharopoulos,
Abigail Knudsen.
Isaac Tong,
Angeline Manitello.
Marco Giulio Ginachero Pajaro,
Melanie Vukovic.
Edric Joe,
Emily Woodman.
Menelik Weatherspoon,
Ava Haas.
Heidi Schmidt,
William Brown.
Andrew Plotner,
Taylor Scott.
Ishan Kanaya Vernikar,
Elizabeth Hoyt.
Suman Malik,
Christine Agpasa.
Edward Tong,
Catherine Huber.
Jack Getty,
Malia Lakar.
James David Wishart,
Christopher May.
Sharik Bukhari,
Emily Deal.
Zachary Robinson,
Jaime Francisco Minaro May.
Marcella Gatti,
Jonah Chad.
Matthew Lamb,
Jessica Gieseking.
Hannah Chapin,
Jorge Huerta Jr.
Luke Van Naaman,
Jacob Labonte.
Kyle Spielman,
Kyle Briseño.
Bhavya Saikani,
Dylan Marks.
Ram Padu Namban,
Caleb Pendleton.
Faisal Alobanamini,
Harith Palmer.
David Pulido,
Victoria Giastici.
Chinhao Ma,
Yoel Frederick.
Isaiah Bauzon,
Erica Shuttle.
Jonah Kim,
Emily Stull.
Sichi Yu,
Devin Delahousse.
Yu Ho,
Emily Siu.
Marcus Lee,
Matthew Profke.
Skylar Zizki,
Alexander Wong.
Shashank Gupta,
Samuel Mahler.
Yu Pas Na Fa Kuraya,
Richard Olszewski.
Usumitu Koi Chu Undu Ku. All right.
Bryce Kyberski.
Abhas Vashi,
Nathan Tidball.
Ilhan Ondur,
Georgios Chaganos.
Yuleja Abul,
Camden Kobelik.
Jack Serbsky,
Rebecca Duncan.
Nicholas Pabida,
Abigail Hartfield.
Ethan Buktu,
Lynn Tron.
James Kundi,
Isabella Ferranti.
Kevin Buchu,
Lauren Livernoy.
Shivam Putel,
Tasnia Yudin.
Riley McCullough,
Shahida Mohammed Khairi.
J.S. Maited,
Ashley Graves.
Tauran Gi,
Emily Johnson.
Shiwen Wei,
Hyunjik Kim.
Yun Thang Lee,
Sean Fernandez.
Junting Liao,
Annan Howell.
Yuning Wer,
Austin Tauber.
Braden Zaba,
Jack Mukhtar.
Ani Rudu Atrish,
Dr. Rawan Al-Malahani, designing catalysis beyond the active site, overcoming limitations in propane dehydrogenation using multi-component catalysis membrane systems. Al-Malahi.
Devi Shi Suresh,
Mushe Liu.
Deepithe Anthuti Ni,
Janet Azar.
An Zakos,
Mahek Sivach.
Iwe Duzung,
Kat Sale.
Stefanos Agamananon Freeligagus, An
Skylar Knapp.
Anthony Abner,
Gianna Ramon.
Iman El Bawami,
Alexia Uratridis.
David Akin Bola,
Dana Sukera.
Yu Zhang,
Brandon Lesnar.
Tianzuan Su,
Michael Fitai.
Howlin Dong,
Joseph Ludlam.
Yihan Wang,
Daniel Pert.
Hun Yu Young, Duan Xi Shen,
Department of Integrative Systems and Design. Vinayak Virma.
Hao Li On Chung,
Diral Salwani.
Kanzu,
Ragiv Kumar.
Mani Kandan Pandyan,
Doyan Kim.
Minghan Li,
Daniel Pizarski.
Shang Wei,
Hunter Poole.
Boyang Lin,
Jamie Wisser.
Ryan Gudal,
Minyu Lee.
Anyan Singh Hall,
Aruhi Doshi.
Anj An Ali Devi San Kur Kumar,
Jacob Saporito.
Unbi Than Thaya Gun Rajan,
Caleb Norris.
Akshaya Jagadish,
Devang Kantharia.
Michael Wang,
Srinivas Anagundi.
Josh Azrin,
Kartik Jain.
Kali Hasti,
Austin Wooldridge.
Nick Yane. There we go. Good stuff, Nick.
Christopher Tapia.
Vidya Srinivas,
Tara Lee.
Brian U,
Sijuan Shu.
Shuchi Young,
Darren Olive.
Hao Yuan.
Asma Amatari.
Sebastian Silborski.
Ishan Kumar.
Zhenhao Liu.
Subram Omprakash Patil.
Arthur Kai.
Pranav Rajaman Sirange.
Angela Wong.
Srikant Reddy Chalapala.
Vibhuti Ravi.
Kapil Sharma.
Tyler Burdick.
Sri Nigam Aditya Nimagada.
Cody Dempster.
Pratik Adibatla.
Akash Bharat.
Vikrant Nitin Joshi.
James Kelly.
Drumit Modi.
Miles Hanbury.
Yaksh Patel.
Ace-June Anand.
Vinit Reddy Gujula.
Robert Mills.
Sai Sampath Kedari.
Andrew Leondar.
Chachanyasi Paruchuri.
Marcus Hurt.
Ram Siddharth Balusu.
Rodrigo Cardenas.
Kalyan Nimagada.
Jack Underwood.
Shridu Taluri.
Meghana Kansika.
Niti Chanakya Akaldevi.
Prashant Shankar.
Sumanth Veda.
Michaela Garvey.
Matthew Dager.
Lily Phillips.
Aditi Mahesh Bang.
Elena Matthews.
Vikram Kumar Mohan Mistry.
Ziyu Tian.
Prasad Kashinath Sakat.
Caitlin Russell.
J. Hemant Kumar Shah.
Adam Batori.
Hufaiza Mose Rahim.
Sehong O.
Mohit Thakur.
Nicholas Cahill.
Amit Chapde.
Guthrie Tabios.
Ayush Deshmukh.
Winston Chen.
Jianwei Jia.
Justin Ung.
Ziwei Huang.
Olivia Lee.
Yuang Huang.
Evan Shamoon.
Department of Civil and Environmental Engineering. Brian Delgado.
Mingjie Lee.
Joel Mojica.
Hongchen Guo.
Akshay Jaluri.
Alan Tondrick.
Eric Dubert.
David Carruthers.
Anthony Colton.
Aaron Reynolds.
Elizabeth Machinsky.
Carl Garish.
Jacob Loins.
Jared White.
Karsten Yaw.
Kyle Richards.
Carter Nearing.
Jared Nation.
Ezekiel Andre de Manuel.
Albert Yee.
Ethan Hiss.
Janet Gandhi.
Jared Hensley.
Karen Doshi.
Dylan Finkbeiner.
Henry Tian.
Kelsey Baldashar.
Matthew Park.
Julia Sheshinger.
Sardor Zanudinov.
Sydney Mark.
Parker Stogdill.
Alexander Vanderway.
Sean O'Connell.
Reese Plesher.
Andrew Gillespie.
Vanessa Woolley.
Lily Chen. Dr. Lily Chen. Fully integrated sub-terahertz frequently stabilized sources and transceivers for 5G communication and beyond.
Sam Orta.
Mohammed Nazim Thamimo Unsari.
Joseph Bloom.
Michael Kane.
Leah Ryuta.
Nick Farid.
Lily Craighead.
Richard Shin.
Dari Prokopieva.
Michael Soon.
Pauline Wong.
Angela Deng.
Zubair Akhtar.
Jason Chiang.
Phuc Do.
Jedediah Pinckney.
Juliana Marks.
Ashish Hari Krishnan.
Maria Kinzer.
Kabir Diol.
Sydney Anderson.
Justin Yu.
Lauren Grandy.
Thomas Westrick.
Kyle Jaspers.
Jackson Mueller.
Augustine Lau.
Peter Linder.
Sohini Badam.
Dongha Park.
Sijia Lee.
Dr. Matthew Whittlesey. Advanced techniques for spectral and temporal ultra-short pulse synthesis in coherent pulse stacking amplification.
Tanmay Vora.
Dr. Laura Andre. Optical refrigeration of crystals doped with ytterbium and titanium ions. Congratulations.
Vishwas Ramachandra.
Kohei Nishiyama.
Nika Korolyova.
Daniel Lee.
Edison Zhu.
Narain Doraiswamy.
Zihang Liang.
Bin Hao Kin.
Jianei Liu.
Eric Radogovich.
Jihao Tsui.
Christian Zhang.
Zhonghee Su.
Jacob L. Block.
Abigail Boger.
Ravi Sumvanshi.
Joseph Peterson.
Eli Smith.
Marion Nee.
Gabriel Ronan.
Xin Sheng.
Yu-Chen Wu.
Boshi Tian.
Hongren Chen.
Yifan Jun.
Chazing Pan.
Dahlia Marakbi.
Ria Chowdhury.
Courtney Wilson.
Junswu
Attila Hamiti.
Fengkai Chen.
Yushi Xie.
Wenzi Tong.
Yisheng Jan.
Vincent Nguyen.
Elizabeth Owen.
Thomas George Anthony Ryan.
Barbara Hernandez Alvarado.
Ela B. Iyengar.
Josh Schweihofer.
Dr. Jaesung Jo, investigation of P-type oxide semiconductor thin film transistor for complementary metal oxide semiconductor technologies.
Aiden Greenberg.
Benjamin Gilliatt.
Mark Norton.
Melissa Fong.
Yushi Yasuda.
Uni Park.
Shane Gunther.
Yuer Gao.
Alex Kovac.
Joe Huang.
Edgar Becerra.
Carl Goddard.
Ann Watsa.
Nathan Chung.
Melanie Camposano.
Grant Veldhaus.
Grace Salubas.
Zan Kausa.
Callie Singer.
Wesley Tsai.
Jenna Sherwin.
Scott Tran.
Sterling Knight.
Manoj Hundithvali Purushothama.
Tyson Suggs.
Rishab Naik.
Minsen Yuan.
Anu Kumar.
Savannah Wujastik.
Rohan Sikera.
Isabel Pagan Caballero.
Priyandarshini Raja Sayukar.
Alexandra Pollock.
Meghana Chiguru Pati.
Thomas McKenzie.
Hao Yu,
Megan Brown,
Xiao Yao Chu,
Reese Lynch,
Uhen He,
Claire Gallagher,
Wensi Lee,
Nina Slateric,
Divyang Narendra Kumar Thakar,
Dante Harris,
Hirumbaye Krishnaswamy Bharadwaj,
Ahmad Yafar,
Urinje Bisht,
Yao Tong,
Rinje Bisht,
Xiao Yu,
Aishwarya Deepak Unta,
Thomas Jenkins,
Benjamin King,
Emma Johnson,
Mingtao Hum,
Anna Kilt,
Kate Norgard,
Brittany Brown Hicks,
Peter Redman,
Rachel Pastori,
Dhruv Permar,
Emily Lopez,
Aman Kushwaha,
Ayush Deb,
Bernardo Bianco Prado,
Ishani Shaw, Gabe Wingert,
Weichung Leo Lee,
Jordan Horton,
Rakesh Maichi Nini,
Material Science and Engineering, Connor Walter.
Wanyue Shio,
Jillian James.
Torhung Seng,
Xander Mensa.
Grant Marshall,
Drew McCready.
Dr. Jasper Drum, Low Latency Network Systems for Terrestrial Communications.
Raj Korapati.
Daniel Kovakevich,
Josh Wilworth.
Will Moreland,
Isaiah Stokes.
Allison Elbart,
Andrew Ray.
Aditya Gandhi,
Megan Klein.
Kunal Kasbekar,
Rachel Rajkumar.
Numun Saxena,
Denise Schlattman.
Uthruva Puwar,
Mackenzie Darling.
Arpit Jaswal,
Katie Way.
Junpreet Singh,
Kaylin Fueling.
Yidong Shen,
Elliot Gorshuk.
Yuen Tao Bai,
Leah Fleming.
Giyuen Wu,
Charisse McComas.
Kaicheng Ku,
Jonah Berman.
Anund Shah,
Austin Lan.
Ganrun Zhu,
Dhruva Krishnaswamy.
Zatan Guan,
Matthew Walker.
Keijan Huang,
Jason Landikni.
Changwan Liu,
Sahana Prabhu.
Jinyi Gao,
Virgil Watkins.
Jinrei Chius,
Fallon Fletcher.
Shrutija Runagauthunan,
Alia Cummings.
Girish Chandar Ganesan,
Jenny Chong.
Yuen Du,
Kelly Chu.
Mingwei Li,
Alan Zhao.
Wenkai Chung,
Gillian Tubbe.
Quanting Chen,
Aaron Cook.
Yuben Jiang,
Chinyi Liu.
Jinshe Li,
Yihua Chen.
Younglun Lie,
Zuyu Ah.
Eli Gooding,
Eli Rotman.
Anund Agarwal,
Dakota Ta.
Dr. Jidong Li, Exiton Transport Properties and Devices.
Harrison Biggs.
Jingyu Liu.
Laszlo Klein.
Venkata Ganesh Kavilvarapu.
Tathya Shinde.
Nikhil Nisarankararao.
Biomedical Engineering. Amoga Angadi.
Lakshmi Pujitha Patnaik.
Edward Hyukjin Jung.
Shama Nitin Shah.
Brooke Behrens.
Vinit Rad.
Jordan Kamen.
Jack Borchanian.
Connor Unalis.
Monish Agarwal.
Tyler Valier.
William Ashton.
Caitlin Pierpont.
Mujay Tai.
Alexa Ann Cotter.
Yusheng Ting.
Scott Joseph Westrick.
Kumal Rudra.
Kyle Ricky.
Shenyi Chiao.
Ansin Tan.
Young Fei.
Abigail Wandoff.
Prutya Kashe Totala Prabhakar.
Zoe Jones.
Hershith Potu.
Jayanth Tatikanda.
Sanjit Reddy.
Alex Lee.
Paarda Saurai.
Joel Pingle.
Piyush Singh.
Sydney Smith.
Anna Deep T.
Elizabeth Dolzo.
Sachit Krishnan.
Nikhil Makamala.
Ruhang Lee.
Nicholas Steck.
Heirong Zhang.
Jordan Blaine.
Zhao Yao Zhang Yang. Sorry about that.
Lauren Terry.
Huashu Li.
Samantha Lewis.
Junyao Shao.
Elizabeth Hughes.
Neil Dutta.
Tyler Tish.
Jiayon Ni.
Christopher Jeffers.
Yan Baihui Liu.
Luke Fisher.
Yanning Zhang.
Lauren Mudry.
Chung Cheng Wang.
Monique Lamoureux.
Bao Xuan Chan.
Elizabeth Lombard.
Ziyan Wang.
Claire Kalajani.
Osman Mukhawana.
Yachi Huang.
Jacqueline Qian Chin Yan.
Lise Rakana Martins and Bernal.
Tingwei Li.
Amira Abed.
Chengpin Liu.
Amanda Liss.
Yufan Deng.
Trevor Underwood.
Bojun Huang.
Jordan Oshesky.
Manu Sayani.
Lauren Hess.
Mohit Yogesh Padaye.
Olivia Farney.
Sadaf Inamadar.
Miranda Makowski.
Sumri Dia Ughawal.
Juliana Katchen.
They Wika They Sha Panai Day.
Elizabeth Snyder.
Tune Kulkurni.
Jordan Thompson.
Ra Shini Morley Dura.
Matthew Tong.
Japanth SP.
Richard Liu.
Mighty Lee Shiati.
Natalie Chan.
Laurel Sachs.
Regina Hanna.
Yuan Z Shioen.
Kayla Lundy.
Pei Chin Zhang.
Keith Kozma.
Ju Po Hung.
Naomi Cantor.
Li Heng Wang.
Audrey McManus.
Dinesh Samuel Sathiri Raj.
Grant Acker.
Herschel Bora.
Trenton McLean.
Sudeep Kata Cole.
Nolan Petz.
Hongzer Yu.
Kira Woodhouse.
Jinji Liu.
Faith Van Allen.
Dr. Glenn Chow, safe end-to-end learning-based robot autonomy via integrated perception, planning, and control.
Marissa Leo.
Jacob Berkovitz.
Rachel Zhang.
Sakeith Mayday Puli.
Cameron Graham.
Daharvi Bunsol.
Shreyan Kashyap.
Xinyi Liu.
Suzanne Pfeiffer.
Yiwan Yu.
Valeria Ferry Lebron.
Computer Science and Engineering. Laogan Gray.
Selena Chen.
Logan Ross.
Gauri Patel.
Ethan Morgan.
Dina Drago Leach.
Triana Nguyen.
Andrew Chan.
Umair Mat Aureliu.
Marcus Jackson.
Liz Unbeth Yang.
Devin
Elizabeth Young, I wanted to say that.
Krasner.
John P. Caillou.
David Willett.
Ethan Fisher. I'm going to read these.
Ayman Solfi.
Stephen Young.
Shao Majono.
Henry Ma.
Vincent Isidore Elfrink.
Moniz Tanaha.
Jared Pavlik.
Alex Markey.
Robin Pfeiffer.
Nathan Koenig.
Sue Chong.
Ethan Thompson.
Christina Chu.
Aidan Lockney.
Caitlin Kunselman.
Joseph Consonoridi.
Amanda Aris.
Adam Friedman.
Samantha Vaca.
Noah Kuiperberg.
Justin Schaff.
Caleb Gifford.
Ryan Mikulski.
Nick Eisenlord.
Matthew Arietta.
Wasim Alaised.
Rithika Pensare.
Sarah Amr.
Connie Gao.
Sarah Fayyad.
Rithika Reddy.
Drawin Shen.
Raj Patel.
Carson Hoffman.
Elizabeth Matag.
Kyle Ahrens.
George Rabadi.
Tao Zhou.
Eve Shikhanov.
Joshua Brooks.
Darcy Huang.
Lindsay Morel.
Claire Casey.
Deepak Thigarajan.
Wu Telching Young.
Justin Williams.
Chin Huang.
Derek Devon.
Samyukta Nilaru.
Julianne Shaw.
Crystal Sanchez.
Sander Stewart.
Maya Berend.
August Tagoas.
Catherine Suarez.
Pei Ying Go.
Madison Duanatoi.
Diane Chien.
Jenny Liu.
Joshua Simons.
Mason Beaker.
Eleanor Marcus.
Brennan Callow.
Davis Bartels.
Jamie Moline.
Nicole Maymaris.
Ishani Shrama.
Natasha Singhvi.
Eldon Shu.
Richa Desi.
Leanne Alloway.
Nicholas Cook.
Youngsu Yuk.
Leif Goldstad.
Olivia Ellis.
Alexander Wertman.
Ebony Matthews.
Manan Manchada.
Melissa Byron.
Andrew Damon.
Yvonne Lynn.
Fatima Bazi.
Sam Kramer.
Thomas Day.
Nadine Sama.
Juliet Nibilski.
Henning Elijah Hasten.
Brandon Quach.
Noah Martinez Blaze.
Andrew Shen.
Timin Lau.
Jerry Zhao.
Andrew Tuakanala.
Elizabeth Reitz Ketzdever.
Fu Wayan Nai.
Jake Claristenfeld.
Deborah Akinabala.
David Rosenberg.
Henry Shu.
Joshua
What's the next
Goldstein.
one? I could do it, yeah. Elkin Bayraktar.
Halen Zheng.
Colin Reinhardt.
Matthew Beaubien.
Natalie Koenig. What's your name?
Daniel Lee.
Abhilash Balanethram.
Yuntao Zhang.
Dr. Mariana Mastuling Pire on the viscoelastic properties of lower birth canal cleaning during the first labor, secondary analysis of data from the EASE trial.
Yixin Zhang.
Zainab Al-Ramadan.
Joe Plata.
Julia Finley.
Nicholas Gustafson.
Annie Lee.
Carolyn Bromberg.
Gabriel Blevins.
Justin Velez.
Anjali Shunker.
Jennifer Kosek.
Adrian Paris Laura.
Connor Wall.
Brandon Hardy.
Nicholas Robertson.
Christian Deval.
Nikhil Kunamaria.
Ridez Rai.
Zane Izad.
Mingcheng Lee.
Jonathan Weissman.
Benjamin Gerber.
Ryan Belserzak.
Layla Berry.
Jonathan Poon.
Eli Siegel.
Daniela Krausyuk.
Amanda Bloom.
Sophia Beachman.
Brenton Savata.
Chloe Zolkowski.
Ruchika Nalabutala.
Elizabeth Wu.
Industrial and Operations Engineering. Hallie Moore.
Colin Finkbeiner.
Isabel Rolfe.
Amanda Beeger.
Whitney Karunji.
Danielle Marafino.
Roger Harvey.
Ava Gizani.
Salvatore Guardrani.
Thomas Shepard.
Michael Zapp.
Christian George.
Ansh Patel.
Farzad Siraj.
Johnny Pun.
C. Ray Wong.
Nicholas DiMatte.
Harrison Schindel.
Matthew Pitavino.
Samuel Bonnet.
Eric Galloway.
David Carter.
David Johnston.
Tess Aline Estabak.
Yeet John Shevkol.
Drew Raymond Vanderspool.
Chandler Coling.
Mariana Regina Ramirez.
Dane Albrecht.
Grace Godwin.
Mitchell Lee.
Anisha Agrawal.
Joshua Kim.
Sarah Karada.
Vincent Larson.
Jia Yi Shen.
Cameron Betts.
Ashley Anderson.
Lauren Brigdaw.
Aiden Reedman.
Claire Dawson.
Raul Desiderio.
Clayton Bullitt.
Ethan Kennedy.
Aiden Fitzgerald.
Vidya Silai.
Grant Pinto.
Maguna Kundaragu.
Keaton Ikenyak.
Braden Crimmins.
Abhishek Kamachandran.
Stephen Tan.
Arun Palanapan.
Lily Wu.
Arvind Kumar.
Garvey Zoe.
Ruhi Juvekar.
Yun Ho Jang.
Eric Wilborn.
Paul Chaffetz.
Abigail Levin.
Robert Miner.
Matthew Osborne.
Walter Wang.
John Moss.
Minyu Tsai.
TJ Bryan.
Hongxiao Zheng.
Clara Yu.
Mikael Hermes.
Paul Bradley.
Sukrit Gill.
Sergio Eugene Borg.
Dr. Christian Paul Barra. Theory of Mind in Situated Communications for Collaborative Tasks.
Julian Flores.
KY Han.
Jinyang Hu.
Xinyi Liu.
Chen Kot.
Daniel Garcia.
Dr. Katie Mogg, Sequential Decision Making in Crisis, Mitigating Risk in Marginalized Communities with Stochastic Optimization.
Henry Tang.
Robbie Elliott.
Colton Van Voorhees.
Daniel Nemert.
Vunrun Rajesh.
Mili Deepak Shah.
Micah Nelson.
Bhumi Patel.
Kaveri Rai.
Shiv Patel.
Trisha Dani.
Druvil Shah.
Janiel Alikas Kaluanan.
Aaron Crane.
Nicholas Spillman.
Elizabeth Zelda Kagin.
Kevin Yan.
Isabel Miner.
Melina Odell.
Alex Newman.
Ella Hathaway.
Alexios Abraslu.
Reina Adis.
Santagio Correa.
Miriam Mahmood.
Paulina Victoria Reisky.
Samantha Yaning.
Samuel Hucker.
Aaron Zhang.
Sabrina Siegel.
Emily Ming.
Elizabeth Baker.
Esther Kim.
Samantha Silverstein.
Nikita Abaraju.
Evan Pamela Kerr.
Martha Marakay.
Justin Ching.
Hannah Kim.
Timothy Breakwalt.
Angelina Jang.
Artemis Civelis.
Catherine Zhu.
Katrina Ciavelis.
Annie Yi.
Haley Rona.
Ibrahim Saeed.
Catherine Poluski.
Thomas Dokas.
Tyler Gronauer.
Kevin Zhu.
Diana Miller.
Han Lee.
Ari Yeaker.
Claire Cheng.
Leo Wild.
Bidechuan Lee.
Matthew Brudsky.
Liang Xiao Guan.
Ethan Trihaft.
Frankie Lizcano.
Keegan Pratt.
Daniel Wong.
Victor Fontana.
Nicholas Hughes.
Benjamin DeGroot.
Faizan Uzmim.
Vinay Pularajvapu.
Simon Pfeiffer.
Akim Koja.
Josephine Garba.
Noah Schoen.
Arlo Halpern.
Kishore Arjun Barijva.
Jack Olson.
Brian Naji Jebara.
Adam Mintzner.
Nick Tran.
Aaron Lice.
Juhan Lee.
Robert Burke.
Shanwei Yu.
Devin Stein.
Sanaya Shaid.
Ian Robb.
Ungazi Aru.
Connor Blessy.
Rachel Russell.
Seth Foncher.
Claire Payne.
Sam Halpern.
Julia Gallagher.
Stephen Krivitsky.
Mika Bennerzer.
Jacob Krivitsky.
Jacqueline Nabi.
Matthew Lynn.
Nigel Falkins.
Andrew Way.
Gokula Krishnan Jayakumar.
Cole Kingston.
Nick McCarthy.
Heidi Huang.
Isabella Campbell Hartman.
Matthias Klassen.
Matt Howard.
Mariana Ortiz Luna.
Grace Vandalak.
Jim Mao.
Joseph Scheuer.
Sean Chang.
Jeremy Siegel.
Dimitri Pilger.
Abby Kolbrenner.
Jacob Gable.
Charles Bienert.
Alan Briggs-Snyder.
Shanmuka Alkadapidi.
Joshua Cunningham.
Noah Holdeman.
Joseph Bednar.
Shane Allen.
Jeremy Angelo Damachino Abapo.
Elijah Buell.
Divya Ramamuthri.
Abigail Hurchin.
Sydney Swider.
Yu Cheng Gao.
Samuel Hookwater.
Yichu Chai.
Andrew Dubrin.
Kuo Wang.
Noah McCreary.
Iziwei Wang.
Christian Wong.
Catherine Yu Chu.
John Manoparambil.
Gianni Shen.
Timothy Stauder.
Jishun Zheng.
Yushwan Xia.
Shansitsi Shah.
Pingbong Hu.
Divyansh Agarwal.
Jihao Wei.
Jiaoi Jia.
Quina Halim.
Alondra Rosa Ornelas.
Arya Kumar.
Paulina Flores.
Jeremy Flicks.
Joshua Peralta.
Evan Weisberg.
Perry Sun.
Leon Henry.
Irianda Diaz Garcia.
Tess Van Ruden.
Marley Lechner.
Linda Wing.
Sharon Manjunkarth.
Dr. Juan Park, crafting machine learning defenses against adversaries.
Yi Qian Zheng.
Dr. Mert Peace, bringing practical security to vehicles.
Marcus Trumez.
Kyle Astroff.
David Keller.
Amber Mahmood.
Fiona Boyle.
Scott Davis.
Sunho Wu.
Li Liang Lang.
Revent Dwalant Butch.
Lin Kai Lee.
Nireja Savani.
Kyle Walker.
Sebastian Munoz.
David Adeli.
Danny Cox.
Timi Tio Oye Lade.
Joseph Augustine Cherukara.
Daphne Kajus.
Ivy Wang.
Emil Kimdium Danzler.
Tuilulupi Okaladale.
Enoch Amayo.
Krishna Rao.
Bernie Velasquez.
Abnav Kriana.
Sunny Niak.
Arash Bathena.
Brian Wheeler.
Levya Uapadayan.
Christina Deng.
Yuanchen Wang.
Anish Niyachandvedi.
Yan Zhu.
Ramez Ibrahim.
Charles Pillsbury.
Joe Lagrasso.
Devin Harrison.
Sakeeth Toda.
Department of Mechanical Engineering.
Jacob Tellengroff.
Kevin Kaya.
Nicholas Bloom.
Vincenzo Scalise.
Joseph Miller.
Nick Tholin.
Maxwell Zuber.
Adrian Sundrajan.
Alina Oferu.
Thanush Rajadran.
Maylee Okamura.
Jeremy Wong.
Claire Tinker.
Christopher Rudiger.
Jackson Baum.
Nathaniel Church.
Jacqueline DeMonte.
Chai Wu Lim.
Doyoon Kim.
Zachary Piper.
Jinshin Ern.
Matthew Rolla.
Jiyin Wang.
Michael Margison.
Alex Hu.
Austin Andrew Vensko.
Gabriel Williams.
Michael Kalata.
Crystal Sun.
Brendan Moores.
Claudia Gonchula.
Justin Osborne.
Marie Phillips.
Maya Kaufman.
Annie Chen.
Nikki France.
Govind Suresh.
David Morris.
Brandon Zhu.
Matthew Craddock.
Alexander Gideon.
Jacob Babe.
Eric Landgraf.
Vanya Lazaranchich.
Jet Li.
Lily May.
Vinayak Kumar.
Abigail Overbeck.
Eric Zhuang.
Dominique Tang.
Ethan Burt.
Brett Hutchinson.
Patrick McElroy.
Jack Myrick.
Luke Theron.
Kyle Zabel.
Ria Bokri.
Nicholas Russell.
Pooja Balani.
Chandler Gay.
Mila Havens.
Liangjiang Gui.
Karun Elgano.
Colton Barry.
Connor Young.
Alexander Netzley.
Dennis Snyder.
Neil Sinha.
Melanie Mann.
Willis Yemens.
Gabriel Cohen.
Noah Lichtberg.
Praveen Praktash.
Patrick Klein.
Boyang Wang.
Mohammed Asaka.
Shuan Pan.
Sarah Dressing.
Shuyan Yang.
Robert West.
Fengu Zhang.
Yining Wang.
Yushi Shea.
John Milton.
Kaya Newman.
Jared Sattelberg.
Alyssa Hidalgo.
Haotien Xie.
Matthew Martin.
Sidney Grasmere.
Luke Hobeka.
Lauren Caronetto.
Garrett Andrew McPhillips.
Andrew Romzik.
Robert Krasinski.
Dylan Jefferson Andresino.
Luca Balmario.
Robert Navarra.
Justin Locke.
Justin Zebok.
Sarah Vanderite.
Alana Smith.
Danielle Phillips.
Caleb Estelle.
Jonathan Clever.
Jack Sunquist.
Jean Chang.
Dr. Roberto Leo Medrano. User-informed exoskeleton design metrics and multimodal exoskeleton controlled strategies.
Thwam Min Taik.
Dr. Shantonio Birch.
Morgan
Thermoelectric
Andrulin.
Transport in disordered materials.
Caitlin Liu.
Brandon Surrey.
Marianne Ho.
Dr. Bo Chi Lee. Modeling and Planning for Connected, Cooperative and Automated Mobility Systems.
Anastasia Guthenkin.
Dr. Tong Li. Miniaturized Fabry-Perot polymer film ultrasound sensor for photoacoustic endoscope system.
Unisha Nara.
Dr. Kalstaf Badera. Co-optimizing engine hardware and fuel chemistry for improving thermal efficiency and reducing pollutant emissions of gasoline fuel direct injection internal combustion engines.
Benjamin Capano.
Nandini Rawal.
Ethan Perlmutter.
Neil Wagner.
Thomas Papish.
Tao Wang.
Landon Rogers.
Yuchan Liu.
Shenyi Wang.
Ethan Lee.
Tom Brady.
Kyra Ilkbaha.
Joseph Massa.
Rebecca Kowalczyk.
Alexander Pakala.
Basil Yassin.
Simon Perryman.
Kevin Bao.
Eric Zhang.
Tyler Middleton.
Yanjun Lee.
Nathan Thor Montgomery.
Tony Park.
Leo Greenleaf.
Richard Wong.
Mustafa Khan.
Walsuk Kong.
Wayne Ju.
Jason Fu.
Samuel Boxef.
Stuart Subeski.
Susan Dowling.
Veronica Tranquilino.
Dina Zrake.
Angela Lee.
Jessica Dillon.
Maggie Chen.
Sierra Staunton.
Ashley Jung.
Ayushi Nekum.
Harsha Ramachandran.
Wei-Ling Hung.
Sean Chen.
Daniel Falvo.
Laura Deng.
Hannah Faustin.
Ashwin Gupta.
Terence Brannigan.
Zachary Goldston.
Dustin Fletcher.
Keith Udupa.
Grant Robertson.
Dominic Caparuccio.
Oliver Barron.
Joseph Lee.
Leeson Thomas.
Ryan Ho.
Anthony Womack Jr.
Ashish Patel.
Sarah Ho Ping Kong.
Abik Mazumder.
Wei Li.
Abhimanyu Deshpande.
Halia Andrews.
Akash Nalani.
Emma Negrelli.
Owen Goebel.
Anne De Castro.
Shreya Manchiraju.
Guillermo Robles.
Jean Shang.
Thomas de Okidi.
Rachel Cheng.
Tyler Simon.
Rithvik Rao.
Shane Warner.
Aryan Seth.
Catherine Jamalvo.
Andrew Lee.
Samuel Weller.
Evan Wong.
Kayla Cadix.
Adve Mucher.
Angela Peterson.
Maxwell Andrews.
Emma Pickett.
Michelle Ross.
Heba Kadir.
Gabriel Uwangnu.
Alison Lapham.
Somit Kakudopu.
Jamie Blacknikoff.
Vedanth Iyer.
Tobias Broker.
Massimo Vaza.
Matthew Lusby.
Wei Jen Jin.
Sophia Newton.
Jiajun Wang.
Diana Carlson.
Chengthan Li.
MJ Rennick.
Dishwan Chen.
Jenna Stoltzman.
Cameron Tressler.
Marissa Gabrielle.
Andrew Sheffer.
Kayla Ehrlich.
Adam Scovera.
Peter Jaskowski.
Christian Foreman.
Jonathan Vespa,
Pedro Madriz Zepeda,
Jose Antonio Galguerda,
Kyla Kwan Liu,
Yi Xuan Feng,
David Wong,
Ray Trao Su,
William Wang,
Shiwu Li,
Ativ Sharma,
Hang Yin,
Varun Jindal,
Lihan Lian,
Sohan Surabu,
Nolan Bainbridge,
Ashwin Srinivasa,
Reed Bacchus,
Lochen Ramu Dayalun,
Jason Williams,
Holly Vargas,
Sunjay Raka,
Stefan Grunis,
Sophia Doriso,
Connor Terrick,
Emerson Miller,
Raumit Patel,
Ryan Needle,
Ler Chin,
Liam Naslovich,
Hemming Chen,
Matthew Allure,
Angel Cheng,
Kendall Hall III,
Brian Soon,
Noah Brooks,
Dipro Protoy,
Linus Gugino,
Kyle Wilkinson,
Benjamin Shumaisi,
Henry Lin,
Nina Makhlouf,
Jessica Zhu,
Annabelle Chonowski,
Edison Situ,
Andrew Easty,
Yuri Chen,
Erica Liu,
Jason Liu,
Karen Reyes Carmona,
Riley Bridges,
Hao Dao He,
Shifa Wu,
Jiang Qi Yang,
Smin Wang,
Guang Yan Shen,
Daniel Howe,
Sparsh Thapa Thierry,
Bradley Wong,
Sharia Sana,
Jonathan Huang,
Salman Javid,
Jacob Stanley,
Raj Viren Lakhani,
Alex Gu,
Farhan Javed,
Sumai Shaumdansani,
Pranjal Shiva,
Samuel Foreman,
Siddiq Hussain Mohammed,
Ryan O'Connor,
Prakash Gupta,
Aidan McCarthy,
Nissan Yadao,
Austin McCulley,
Matthew Pan,
Yiying Jiang,
Emerson Chan,
Jiahan Gao,
Joseph Tuwansky,
Kwab Bang Tran,
Jack Rupel,
Jen Zhang,
Logan Kraus,
Brendan Mural,
Jacob Martus,
Ji Yi Zhou,
Andrea Vasquez Garcia,
Hao Tong Lo,
Pearson Klein,
Zhijiang Luo,
Wang Yong Kong,
Aniket Sayan,
Evan Chinaski,
Shravani Butala,
Graham Dykehouse,
Yash Podar,
Mengyang Tu,
Zhangxing Zhou,
Catherine Holt,
Jiaqing Zhang,
Sedona Gambalvo,
Jiyue Zhu,
Eden Max,
Sha Chuan Jun,
Kiera Meloche,
Yijia Gao,
Anthony John the Shah IV,
Jia Zhu,
Nicholas Kowski,
Yidong Huang,
Brendan Quapis,
Nicholas Sanchez Nagira,
Cole Chaffin,
Alexander Watts,
Rebecca Cuomo,
Claudia Shemtov,
Vishnu P.K. Giri,
Jack Timko,
Swathi Vidivataran,
Sayan Kim,
Praneet Nalan Chakravartula,
Kevin Shi,
Shiva Kumar Vare,
Jeffrey Nee,
Lakshmi Apita Vamaruju,
Anthony Nee.
Hongwei Liu,
Alex Saki.
Panagota Kitsopoulos,
Dora Guo.
Cohen Bryant,
Aditi Kare.
Joseph Carey,
Michael Yu.
Caleb Stiles,
Andre Kovarik.
Roger Ho,
Bellany Zhang.
Justin Wong,
Siddharth Nagumungala.
Inqing Tao,
Nishant Sumrupudi.
Donghuan Lee,
Swati Bangeria.
Jared Shattuck,
Purushan Narayan.
Aki Milanov,
Gordon Koleb.
Gaif Kaja,
Benjamin Givner.
Claudia Zimmerman,
Yang Chen.
Eric Chen,
Tianju Li.
James Brin,
Dear Hao.
Avaristo Garcia Reyna,
Menji Mao.
George Dung,
Nisurg Pora.
Finnegan Lynch,
Rudit Shah.
Erica Santos,
Josh Silverberg.
Henry Lyons,
Adwait Dashapandi.
Ding Ding Tan,
Jamin Chu.
Govind Menon,
Gavin Lee.
Devanish Kolfi,
Siyang Shu.
Tanushi Paraskrama,
Tao Liu.
Rahul Ramamurthy,
Ashok Thiragarajin.
William Wagner,
Maxwell Lane.
Jacob Fischette,
Rebecca Hirsch.
Aditya Nihan Deshmukh,
Prithika Shetty.
Surab Moore,
Drishan Jain.
Dong Myung Lee,
Zoe Dresner.
Coulter Corsmore,
Alana Hill.
Scott I,
Muchi Wu.
Sarah Redmond,
Sabrina Shao.
Vasil Yakimovich,
Athena Ding.
Shuangguang Ran,
Annie Zhou.
Yochanan Satriboldi,
Zishuan Chen.
Theodore Mattison,
Hanji Wan.
Jialu Yu,
Bernie Cohen.
Sakshi Dayal,
Ari Singer.
Mason Hung,
Brendan Nell.
Kevin Gu,
Antonio Nara.
Darren Huang,
Alexander Ruben Rodriguez.
Sarah Quiteman,
Ukshay Gupta.
Madhav Bhatt,
Ewen Singh.
Brandon Fee,
Jishan Chu.
Mayank Dawan,
Vayathi Unbiarkur,
Apurva Roy,
John Stevens,
Benjamin Farman,
Jacob Zell,
Suyash Dixit,
Lawrence Bitzer,
Alfred Chomi Jensen VI,
Cheng Zhou,
Rohan Lakhani,
Carrie Ifan Chen,
Zhenhua Liu,
Yiying Yuan,
Qi Wei Zhao,
Huiru Zhou,
Xingzi Dai,
Xinyo Shi,
Jinxin Li,
Ifan Pei,
Zilong He,
Neil Kim,
Wan Yu Li,
Christopher Cordian,
Yue Wei Fu,
Chetan Reddy,
Andrew Chapania,
Haider Baloch,
Mandy Mai,
Vishnwa Patil,
Keith Wong,
Andrew Varagis,
Shaurya Tiwari,
Thuyur Krishnan,
Ashutosh Bon,
Adharsh Unchar Iyun,
John Yu,
Divyang Bajorga,
Alex Tsang,
Elizabeth Lower,
Sai Pavanyera,
Caroline Tamasian,
Stephen Tam,
Amal Bansode,
Su Song Kim,
Prithik Ravi,
Xiang Yu,
Vijay Ram Ganesh Northi,
Tiger Hashikura,
Yutharth Chabra,
Derek Johnson,
Neil Shah,
Enrico Braucher,
Killian Olson,
Roland Barnum,
Peter Wu,
Franklin Volsic,
Nitish Vijay,
Jacek Diogus,
Julian Lane,
Ifan Liu,
Ken Mahathardol,
Alexander Lajoy,
Stephen Blow,
Christina Tsai,
Cesar Rodriguez,
Ji-Yu Chen,
Erica Delfino,
Wu-Yu Zhan,
Luke Bowl,
Zhehuan Chen,
Braden Lockney,
Chunyu Lo,
Bennett Norman,
Sai Hong An,
Nathaniel Worrell,
Danielle Amrush Shamzelen,
Jason Chi,
Kaiwen Deng,
Mark Mills,
Max Friedberg,
Patrick Cargill,
Megan Glass,
Mert Gurdon,
Andy Wang,
Sumuku Marathe,
Tiffany Tan,
Luis Zapian Guerrero,
Javid Raya,
Sarunya Nistala,
Emir Urban,
Aaron Shi,
Theodoro Haddad,
Michael Nee,
Kevin Chen,
Elizabeth Liu,
Brian Yonsu Huang,
Nikitha Chitelu,
David Ye,
Vivian Bai,
Andy Gu,
David Wegsman,
Derek Pan,
Raymond Bartlett,
Hannah Joe,
Katie Wakevana,
Abigail Ng,
Ayush Singh,
Teresa In King,
Benjamin Steinig,
Richard Wang,
Sahil Gupta,
Chirag Bangera,
Alexandru Beloy,
Johan Chun,
Andrew Houston,
Sujan Arora,
Maxwell Lee,
Agam Kohli,
Pravnadan Bupla
Anish Sabnis,
Parth Rout,
Anurag Bangera,
Vincent Ma,
Chase Miller,
Tehun Kim,
Baba Kamal Asmatullah,
Priyo Saha,
Jubilee Wong,
Joshua Ryan,
Yi He,
Mingyi Chen,
Yu Hui Lai,
Jonah Nan,
Rosen Wu,
Ashni Khatri,
Yu Shin Lu,
Dhruv Patel,
Yi Chan Zhong,
Manasi Sridhar,
Zuchi Yan,
Ashil Dixit,
Jackie He,
Ayush Urgawal,
Chi Fang Wang,
Claire Waldron,
Jingzhou Feng,
Ananya Joshi,
Kai Wan Shou,
Ann George,
Ao Wang,
Nishika Upla,
Chi Tsao,
Abigail Gaiman,
Marvin Cantaloupe,
Evan Brown,
Wu Jia Gao,
Townshu Kao,
Shen Chang Yang,
Yikai Fan,
Diana Xu,
Zhuan Zhen,
Aiden Nagai,
Fan Hao Zhang,
Jay Trey,
Evan Lee,
Calvin Kwok,
Wendy Fang,
Jeff Lin,
Ryan Shaw,
Andy Ho,
Jason Chen,
Ethan Chun,
Anwesh Dubade,
Alexander Raymond Liu,
Max Kaminsky,
Brandon Peter Lee,
Shashank Chandru,
Luca Kato,
Ariel Vidrio,
Pranav Abbott,
Isadarina Marinescu,
Ida Lo,
Rithik Agarwal.
Nakul Bajaj,
Ashley David.
Abigail Hackbart,
Madison Rose.
Peter Lastowski,
James Sabella.
Anishika Taneja,
Nathan Katzman.
Mihar Chatwal,
Shrikar Indapali.
Ibe Han,
Shreya Ramesh.
Zui Ro,
Mai Raklevsky Raik.
Xinyi Lu,
V. Kim Wen.
Jie Ji,
Myla Samanishan.
Madison Dowd,
Yi Wang.
Andre Rodriguez III,
Hao Sheng Fei.
Andrew Huang,
Tim Stolt.
Sebastian Shard,
Isaac Muthart.
Arjun Jaitley,
Si Yao Lu.
Bachin Lapjav,
Charlie Zhang.
Dhruv Verma,
Yang Huan Hu.
Aditya Venkatraman,
Amar Safdari.
Charlie Krug,
Zachary Behrman.
Rishi Katari,
Jonathan Dong.
Ayan Agrawal,
Tejas Khanna.
Chumayana Haini Awa,
Riley Ma.
Daphne Tsai,
Lisa Tauro.
Adam Roshai,
Lahari Vavilala.
Joshua Ye,
Cindy Wang.
Mark Sasha,
Marisa Wang.
Zhichang Huang,
Ryan Katana.
Danyao Chun,
Anna Eamon.
Michelle Lee,
Sylvia Wei.
James Zhang,
Joshua Luther.
Jehab Krolik,
Hannah Salame.
Tianzi Yu,
Taylor Splinger.
Kendra Kleba,
Carter Galbus.
Avraham Mikili,
Jae Hong Hu.
Martin Rosen,
Jacob Thierick.
Rachel Lowe,
Nicole Sirjan.
Lucy Dwan,
Chloe Snyders.
Hanif Khan Sr.,
Gregory Cowles.
Asha Alaki,
Ezra Shepline.
Ethan Kincannon,
Hong Yi Yin.
Salik Aslam,
Ji Yi Chen.
Imran Kwadzi,
Yi Chao Tian.
Amar Khan,
Nathan Buckwalter.
Yuchun Lu,
Jeffrey Brill.
Santiago Sony Perez,
Connor Lande.
Grant Cole,
Ryan Albert.
Walter Guo,
Ronald Chan.
Yongwoo Kim,
Tejas Chate.
Salil Nadkarani,
Ketki Gaikwad.
Michelle Liu,
Sparse Tripathi.
Angelina Reyes,
Hamad Solman.
Tohai Ichikawa,
Pranav Rao.
Larry Wang,
Aisha Saini.
Richard Wong,
Johnson He.
Daniel Herman,
Ari Bosch.
Jack Pendley,
Zachary Eichenberger.
Daniel Chase,
Myra Gaida.
Daniel Fitchell,
Boyang Huang.
Hadil Aburan,
Yifan Chen.
Labiba Katsi,
Alexander Chibisov.
Anya Zaidi,
Ronan Pru.
Hejung Fun,
Ding Hao Shen.
Alonzo Blackshear,
Yuan Li Zhu.
Jian Shi,
Zikai Han,
Yichu Xie,
Yihao Huang,
Yu Xiao Wu,
Yanzhao Kai,
Nu Li,
Elizabeth Chong,
Jared Jung,
Jennifer Williams,
Patrick Su,
Justin Baker,
Wu Wang,
Alan Drakovich,
Weihan Xu,
Hasul Burker,
Mingju Liu,
Ayman Saeed,
Chunhao Zhang,
Martin Vega Velasco,
James Xiao,
Roni Varnar,
Shami Abdul Sobri,
Sunith Torke,
Muhammad Afam Alsul Isla,
Avik Dutagupta,
Fakrul Azami Ayub,
Vinit Raju,
Rais Razin,
Robert Kang,
Aditya Shriyam,
Rohan Ersal,
Aman Khalid,
Chimney Savurnu,
Kavya Monocha,
Melanie Howarth,
Harvin Mumik,
Shukai Chang,
Chad Rozoki,
Yungwen Lan,
Bagav Maladi,
Yuju Chen,
Darrell Wang,
Pai Kai Zhen,
Trim Ramberg,
Santiago Medina,
Elliot Klein,
William Yang,
Daniel Zhang,
Alexandra Rostakovich,
Dr. Deepika Natarajan, enabling practical deployment of privacy-preserving secure technologies.
Anna Wang, Xinhao Ling, Muhammad Chari bin Favis, Clement Lim, Zalifa Abu Zarim, and Kevin Carlton Chung.
Let's hear it one more time for the class of 2023. Okay, all right. And thank you very much for our name announcers. Now, before singing the university's alma mater, the Yellow and Blue, Executive Director of Student Affairs, Rebecca Flintoff, will provide instructions for taking your class photo.
Okay. Well, before we take the class photo, Dean Gallimore, we have one additional item. As this is your last commencement ceremony before you move on to be the provost at Duke, our graduates have a message for you. Okay, now it's time for the class photo. So, come forward. Okay. So everybody get ready. We're going to need your big smiles. Look up. And on the count of 3,
Look
this way. Look this way. I think.
Which way do we look?
I think they look this way.
We look this way, right?
Yeah. Okay, 1, 2, 3.
There he is right here. All right. All right, we got it. All right. Please be seated. Please be seated. Well, thank you very much for that nice message. It's been an honor and privilege to serve as your dean almost 7 years now. And I'd like to just end my very brief remarks, because you have other things to do than hear me talk, by talking about the themes that Dr. Zurbuchen mentioned, which is hope and team. And I look at this great sea of intellect and potential, and I have great hope for the future because of all of you. And the thing that has given me the greatest pleasure of being the dean, besides educating all of you, has been this amazing team that we've amassed here, arguably the best team at the University of Michigan. So I leave by feeling honored and privileged by being the dean, but also really feeling great about the future of Michigan engineering with this amazing team and with you people being our alums in the near future. So thank you for that, and go blue. And then let me finish. Okay, following the singing of the alma mater, please remain in your seats until the platform party has left the stage. Then please use all of the available exits when leaving Chrysler Center. The southwest, northwest, and the northeast exits are available for all guests. Anyone using a wheelchair with other special mobility needs is asked to proceed to the northeast or southwest exit. Please follow the directions of the event team members stationed around the arena to find the nearest or best exit for you. Now, as you are able, please stand for the singing of the alma mater. You will find the words in the back of your program.
Thank you.